natural, and I think.
Give me a second. It's my greatest pleasure to be talking to you, David. Now, could you please introduce yourself and what do you do for business?
Yes, hi Nour, and hi everyone. My name is David Tito Nikiare. So I'm from New Zealand. I'm currently in the UAE at the moment. My field is education. I'm in education. So I have been mentoring. I have been advising in many schools here in the UAE. I went on my own a few years ago, and I wanted to test my entrepreneurial spirit, let's say. And so I'm involved in just different projects. One at the moment is a project called Educator, and it's an online professional development platform. I'm a brand ambassador for them at the moment, for this great company, and that's where I have opportunities to do my life coaching, and also support for teachers, support for leadership in education. I'm involved in just different projects myself. I'm just about to finish writing my first book, and I've been keeping myself busy. So for many years, and my heart, I'm a teacher. That's my trade. So that's been following me for well over 20 years. And I think once a teacher, always a teacher. And then other people, they say, okay, you're an educator. So I'm an educator of children, educator of adults. I'm also involved in sports coaching as well. And so I've been lucky enough. I even went to America and had a look at the ARPTC rugby program that they have over there, and that's preparing athletes for the Olympic level. So I'm constantly pushing myself and pushing others to reach their potential, to get the most out of what they can do, and to always learn. I think that's one of my mantras, is to never think that you're the finished product. Always learn, always develop. Keep training, keep learning. I can't sit still. I'm always looking for the next project around the corner. So my role is to support and help others, because I think there's a lot of lessons that I have learned along the way, and especially in education as well. I believe that there are a lot of teachers out there who leave the profession, and my heart goes out for them, because they probably needed a mentor or someone just to guide them through the challenges and to say it's okay. And also I've been helping education leaders as well, help them just understand how to get the best out of their schools, the best out of their departments, and so on. So that's me in a nutshell. No?
Perfect. So you mentioned like visiting different countries. Could you mention like some memories, some nice places you've been to?
Okay, well, I believe I've been to your homeland, Nour. I went to Cairo, saw the wonderful pyramids, and was just in awe of what I saw. That absolutely blew me away, because I'd say of the 40 countries that I have visited, that's up there as number one in terms of just the magnitude of what I saw with the pyramids. And I was very fortunate enough to go inside as well, into the chambers, just to see the science right in front of my eyes. How on earth was something so big built? And I literally stood there for an hour just with my mouth hanging, and I was just looking from one side to the other, just in amazement. You know, you see it on the internet, you see it on TV, you see it on books, but when you see it with your own eyes, that's something I will never forget. You know, like I've been to Europe, I've seen the Colosseum, and I've seen just the wonderful architecture and the history in Europe as well. But when you're talking history, you know, look no further than the pyramids. Wow.
Fantastic. Okay, you mentioned a transition in your LinkedIn profile. What do you mean by
Yes.
that?
Well, in the past, it was always about me. When I looked, on my LinkedIn page, it was always about this title, that title. I've done this, I've done that. Everybody look at me. And then I changed. I changed my focus, and I said, okay, that's enough. Let's make it about everyone else apart from me. So I actually took off all my titles. I removed it from LinkedIn. And on my LinkedIn profile, I said, I'm about bringing out the best in others. I'm about service. I'm about helping others reach their potential. And since then, I've made some wonderful connections, some rewarding connections of people who have connected with me and said, how can I help them? In what capacity can I help them? Or it could just be just a simple question. I have a question. What do you think, David? And that has taken my journey in a completely different direction. And maybe I'll be able to explain how that direction has gone.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm waiting.
Yeah, well, one of the biggest things that I had to learn was to be an active listener. And that's not just something that it's not that easy to do. And so, like prior to us meeting, prior to our interview, I'm not sure if you realize, Nour, but it almost seemed like I was doing the interview on you rather than you on me. We were just having our discussion. Did you notice that, Nour?
Yeah.
Yeah. So unlike what I'm doing now, I prefer the other person who has come to me. I just ask leading questions. I just ask. I don't give answers. I'd like to give questions that help the other person reflect, and the answers don't have to come out straight away, but give them time to reflect, to think about their journey, to think about their strengths, their weaknesses, and probably most importantly, and this is with my life coaching hat, to think about their limiting factors that hold them back. Because I found with just with a lot of people that I've spoken to, that tiny voice just in the back of their mind, that we, and perhaps we may all have it, but it's that tiny voice, the power of that voice to hold us back. And we all have that voice, and we probably don't think that voice has much power because it's just hidden in the back. You can't see it. And at times you can't hear it, but you just know it's there. And sometimes that limiting factor can be a huge influence on us not moving forward. I like to ask the people that I work with to think about what those limiting factors could be. It could be something that they've experienced in their lives and something that's held them back, but they haven't realized that. So it's my role just to help bring that out.
Yeah, perfect. Let me ask you another question here. Like, what qualities did you find in your trainees, in your mentees, or in your customers that you would have liked to see in your students? And which qualities have you seen in your students as a teacher you would like to see in your customers?
I'd love to see ownership. And what I mean by ownership is it's got to come from them. It can't come from me. So it has to be driven from the individual. So the individual needs to drive their own path. And I found that in education, that let's not do something just for something's sake. Let's have a purpose for what we're doing, and it's the why. I feel everyone needs their why. Why are we doing this? Because why drives curiosity. And without curiosity and without why, then we're no different from a machine. We're just doing something for the sake of doing something. And so a lot of times, if there is a purpose, and a lot of times if there is a why, you'd find that it's driven from the person. And that's why I like to see people that I work with, and when I say people that I work with, I'm talking athletes, I'm talking educators, I'm talking students, I'm talking people that I do work with. They have to find their purpose and they have to find their why. And if you don't have those two things, then it's going to be a challenging journey, because then you have to reassess and think, why am I doing this then?
Yeah.
And I do find that in life, there are a lot of people who do things just for the sake of doing it. Why are you doing this? I always ask why. I even when I travel, I'll come across a place and I'll say, where did this name come from? Why did they name that? And a lot of people will just say, well, I don't know. I just go there, or well, why do you do this? Well, I just do it because I do it. And one of the lovely things that, because I'm also involved in coaching, and a coach that I've been working with, we are always challenging why we are doing what we do. Is it really having impact? Is the training drills or the activities that we're doing really having impact? Because if it doesn't have impact, then why are we doing it? And I think we always need to stop and reflect. And I think this is important in education, the ability to reflect and just to look back at what you've done in your work, and just to think, okay, then how can I do that better? But most importantly, why? Why am I doing this? You know, I'd like to know what statistic is out there, Nour, on people choosing their careers, because it'll be interesting just to find out, are people actually in their jobs because they love their jobs, or maybe because of circumstances they just happen to fall into that role? I've come across many people who I've asked them to reflect on why did they choose that job, and there is no passion there. There is no, it's almost a job of convenience, isn't it? It's not really, if you really think about it, it's not really their passion. A lot of people seem to, their hobby seems to be their passion, and work just seems to be work. What do you think?
Yeah, like I totally agree with you. Like a big number of people like come by their jobs, but we are about you, not about me now. Okay, so I'm not wasting your time. This is your opportunity.
No, but I think it's also part of who I am, Nour. It's very difficult for me to speak, because I'm so used to getting the other person to speak. So okay, for this platform, I'll definitely speak, but usually when I'm interacting with people, I'm usually the quiet one, and I'm usually the person in the background, letting them talk, because it's important. I feel that it's important to get the other person to speak, because you're going to pick up a lot, and you'll see their mannerisms, and you'll hear their passion in the way they speak. And so I think that's part of just being an active listener, just the ability to pick up body language, pick up intonations, key words that are said, because ultimately what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to steer people towards their passion and their why.
Perfect. Okay, let's explore another small aspect about you. You've been living in a speaking country for a while now. Could you explain your experience with the Arabic language and how many words you can say?
Oh wow, yes. Well, just to all our Arabic viewers, you know, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So that's, you know, I love the language, and for me, it's more than a language. There's deep roots in the language, And I had to, like, if you're in in an Arab country, you have to be able to speak Arabic. And I wanted to learn Arabic words that connected with people. So when I would go to different tribes or different villages, I would say "Kayf halak," but I also would say, "How would you say it?" And then I would hear, "Well, we say "Ish halak," or we say "Wish halak." And so I realized, okay, then not only do we have our standard Fusha language, but there's certain dialects, and if there's a way to connect with someone that means more to them, then use that, make that connection. So I've been learning Arabic from Syria, Urdun, Masr, UAE, just from as many places as possible, and I've noticed that I've connected better when I've made that effort just to go just a little bit more and connect. And you straight away, Nour, you just see the smiles on people's faces of, oh, okay, then you know this Arabic, but then okay, you know this Arabic as well. You know how to touch the heartstrings. So, you know, I had a colleague, Mr. Taisir, and you know, every time I would see him, you know, I'd say, you know, Assalamu alaikum, Sabah al khair. And we had a wonderful relationship until I heard my other colleagues address him differently. And I was just like, what just happened there? And that they would address him as Abu Ibrahim.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned around and I said, what did they just say? And he said to me, well, they called me, you know, father of Ibrahim, my son. Yeah, so and I didn't realize that, okay, there's greeting someone and then there's greeting someone with much more respect. And then I thought, okay, then David, you've got more homework to do. You need to be able to connect with people and not just learn the language, but learn the language that can move people, learn the language that can connect with people, learn the language that you can almost predict how they're going to react now because of what you said, and you see a different reaction to when you touch and you go a bit deeper. So that's what I've learned. I've learned the way to reach out to people.
Perfect.
And gain respect.
Great. And we're learning from you right now. So the first question is, how do you determine your trainees' needs?
Yes, most of the time, the trainees, they come to me. So by coming to me, it tells me that they do have a need. Like, they're not just coming to me just to have a chat. They're coming to me because there's something on their mind and there's something in their head, so to speak, that they need to deal with. Whether it be in sports or whether it be in education. And so firstly, I need to find out what that need is. And sometimes the person doesn't know what the need is, but they know that there's something just not right. And so the ability just to talk, I sit, I listen, and I have to tease it out. And it takes time to tease out the need. And sometimes you can just pick it up, so you can hear it. It can be reoccurring. And then I also look at the individual as well. What type of personality they have. Do they trust me? Is there that trust? And so it just takes a while. But being in the education profession, I found that if you think about the different type of personalities that I've bumped into over the last 20 years, you just get an idea of the different types of people that you're going to be meeting. And I must have met, you know, thousands of people along the way, but sometimes I can say, okay, then you remind me of, you're the same as, or you are completely different to this person.
Oh, yeah.
And just hearing them talk, then I can ascertain, okay, what are their needs? How can I help them? And sometimes, I can't see the need, and I'll be honest, because you need the client just to, or the person just to keep talking before because sometimes they may not want to bear their soul. Like, who am I? I'm just David. So there has to be that trust involved in any interaction. There has to be that element of trust, because what gives you that trust from the beginning? Okay, it could be a piece of paper that says, okay, then I'm a licensed life coach, or things like that. But if you don't have that trust, and if you don't feel comfortable with that person, then you can't really go forward.
Perfect. The next question: why are honesty and rapport important in your work?
Yeah, hey, no, if you can't be honest, then what are you doing? You know, are you telling something that's false? But I think the honesty can be said in a way that can be helpful and that can be constructive. I'll give you an example. I try to be as non-judgmental as possible, and this is something that I learned when I was in the States, and it really was about conversing without giving an opinion. So I had to learn how to say, well, I think, I feel, you did really well, lovely, awesome, that's great. I actually had to remove all of that, and I had to say what I see. And then when I say it in a non-emotive way, it takes away any form of judgment. And I coach that way as well. Like I could be coaching someone how to kick a ball, and then I will say to them, you kick the ball. And they would look at me, yeah, but did I kick it well? And I said, well, you kicked it this way. Your foot hit the ball at this spot, and then the ball went, your foot went through, and then it ended up over there. So I had to avoid saying, yeah, you did it really well, because that's my opinion. And so with a lot of players, when you give your opinion, it can just go straight in here. Oh, the coach said this, or the coach said that. And it's not really, it shouldn't be about how you did it. It should be about that you did it, and that should be acknowledged. And also, if you didn't do it, it should be acknowledged. And so it's about building that culture to acknowledge that, yes, you did something, but also you didn't do something. And all the emotive words and the emotions that come with that are gone. So that's a practice that I do in my sports teams, is that we acknowledge what we did, but we also acknowledge what we didn't do.
Perfect.
Let's acknowledge it, we celebrate it, move on.
Yeah, let's continue with this note. Like, how did you benefit from coaching yourself?
Yep. So I'm still benefiting. I'm not the finished product, even though I've been coaching for years. I'm always learning, and every now and then I see a learning moment, and I think that's how I'm benefiting, because I'm always learning. And I think if I stopped learning, I probably wouldn't be coaching anymore. And I make that very clear that I can learn off others as well, but whatever I have to pass on, sure, I can pass that on. But every day I'm just learning something new, something new, something new, and I'm just like, wow, this is an amazing journey. Yeah. So yeah, I think what have I learned from coaching? I've learned that I'm still learning, and there's a lot more to learn, and I can learn off others as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to go just to the mental side. I also did learn that just the power of the mind, and how the mind can propel us forward, but it can also hold us back. And based on experiences and limiting factors, the limiting factors play a huge part in how we move forward, because That can be your reason for procrastinating. That can be your reason for not wanting to do something or holding back or never really pushing yourself forward. And so I think if we can overcome that, that's huge.
So let's go to the point how to overcome that. What tools and techniques do you use?
Yeah. So overcoming it is to be self-reflective, thinking back, having time to think about your journey, having time to think about, and really, because I think we're so rushed in life, aren't we? Well, obviously not for the last three months or so, but most of the time we're just on that treadmill and we're just going forward. We've got 10 things that we need to complete. We only probably get 2 of them done. And at times we can always be on that rat race. Okay, we've got to get this done. We're going, and we're always going. And we've got to take time for ourselves to stop, reflect, and just think, okay, then what's going on in my life at the moment? And it's just that ability to prioritize what's going on in life and just say to ourselves, okay, then why am I not where I said I was going to be? What's happened? What's blocked me from doing that? And it is the ability to stop and reflect. And most people, they don't have the time to do that. They're always on the go. So if there is a time for everyone just to stop, reflect, even find someone just to confide in and talk to, bring it out. But it does take that special individual to bring that out of you. I know a lot of people, they have their parent, a parent who knows you really well. They're able to bring that out of you. Or there are people out there, life coaches, just many different roles where people are able to help you in that reflection process. And ideally, with our reflection process, it's to let the other person talk. And obviously we're guiding them through it, but let them talk. And I tend not to tell people, I tend not to advise. I'm just there just to reflect and let them guide their own way to where they want to go. Otherwise, they're just listening to my instructions. And they are the masters of their destiny, aren't they?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So you've been speaking about the limiting beliefs. How do you or how do people detach themselves from these hurtful beliefs?
Yeah. Number one, you've got to acknowledge it. You've actually got to stare it in the face. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the limiting factors can be hurtful. Sometimes the limiting factors can be a memory that you don't want to go down again. Are you able to deal with it? Yes and no, but it has to be acknowledged. And I think that's key. That acknowledging it and just saying, yes, that is a limiting factor, and being true to yourself, then sure, acknowledge it, and then we can deal with that later. But if a limiting factor is not brought forward, a true limiting factor, then we can't really progress as well if it's not brought forward. Because sometimes a lot of people hold back their limiting factors. They'll say what they should say, but deep down inside they know, okay, the real limiting factor is this or this or this. And we all have different experiences in life. Some good, some not so good. And it's up to the individual on how they want to deal with their limiting factors. But sometimes it can be just the tiniest of voices. And just that tiny voice has so much power to hold you back.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move to the next point. What are the coping mechanisms?
Yep. Being non-judgmental, acknowledging the positives and the negatives. I know I hear a lot of people say, listen, just focus on the positives. Sure, but acknowledge the negatives as well. You know, I think like as a coach, um, I acknowledge that if I haven't done something well, even as a sports coach as well, there are times where I was late, and then I knew I was late, they knew I was late, so I acknowledged it. Everyone, I was late, and they all went, yeah, we know you were late. But it has to be brought forward, and I go back to saying that it has to be acknowledged, and I like to deal with just with a lot of incidents being non-judgmental. So using language as well, using non-judgmental language, rather than, you know, like I said before, you did this really well. It's like, okay, you did this, and it's like, okay, then yeah, I did do that. Okay, how do I improve? Well, to improve, we need to do that. Okay, good, great. It's taking away the emotion from what we do. And then when that happened, I found that a lot of people weren't in their head. Do you know that term, being in your head? No?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people are in their heads, and it's about moving forward without being in your head. There's a lot of people who are just walking around and it's weighing down in their heads. And sometimes you can be thinking, all right, everyone is thinking this, everyone's thinking this about me, or everyone's thinking that about me, when really they're not. And so it is taking away the judgment of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's move to the next part. How can we find purpose?
Yeah, that's I find that a very, very interesting question. How can we find purpose? Because I feel it's up to the individual. It's whatever makes you happy, Nour. Whatever drives you, whatever makes you wake up in the morning. There's a saying that if you do something for someone, it's stress. If you do it for yourself, it's passion. Have you ever thought about that when you feel stressed? It's always because someone's asked you to do something you don't want to do. You know, and you get that uncomfortable feeling of, oh gosh, now I've got to do this, and it's uncomfortable, and I don't really want to do it. That's stress. But if someone said, listen, would you like to do something that you love? And how about you go and do that? And then you'll go, sure, oh, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it for free if I had to, because there's your passion, isn't it? There's your why. And if we can find out our why, something that would just drive us, and you know, you'll find that when you're involved in your why, the time just flies. You know, you're involved in something. You're involved in something that's your purpose. You're involved in your why, and it drives you. And you just find that your energy levels go up. My wife says to me, she goes, "Do you ever rest?" And I'm like, "Not when I'm passionate about something. Not when there's a purpose, because I'm just driven, and I'm just going, and I'm just going, and I'm just going." So finding your purpose is just finding that thing that you love to do. And I want to emphasize this, Nour, it's what you love to do, not what someone else wants you to do. You know, whenever you do something for someone else, it's stress. Whenever you do it for yourself, it's passion.
Yeah, that's amazing. Why is gratitude important?
Yeah, it's just understanding value, isn't it? It's understanding the value in something, and appreciation as well. I think it's massive. I think it's key. And also it gives you empathy as well, to realize that to feel for others, to understand that maybe what you have, others may not have, and it's just the ability just to value what you have, and value what's and it goes down to your own values as well. You know, what you see is important in life, and gratitude is one of those things, and you value what's around you. I think that can be part of who you are in your core as well. I think it's a very good trait to have in everyone's lives.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, so let's go to a quite difficult point: how to handle or how to overcome self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah, I think we may have touched upon that, but firstly, if you're unable to use tools, then find someone who can help you. Find someone that you can form that relationship and that trust who has the tools. A lot of people, they have their own coping mechanisms to overcome limiting factors, and a lot of people have done really well on their own. But if you're really struggling, then find someone who has the tools that can pass on to you. And there are some that may not have the tools, the right tools, but it's just finding, if you're able to speak out and find the right person who can help you with that. You know, it could be your partner, it could be your parent, it could be a friend. It's just someone that can listen, take the time just to sit down, and it really is about time. It's giving their time just to listen and let you talk and bring it out. So if you've acknowledged that there is a limiting factor, and sometimes you may not think so. Sometimes you may think, listen, I don't have any limiting factors. I'm fine as it is. Okay, and that's where you may have to dig it a little bit deeper. If you can acknowledge it, because let's face it, we've all got limiting factors. Some of us are a bit more proud than others, not. But if you do feel that if you feel there is a limiting factor, even if you don't, go and ask someone and just say, listen, someone close to you may be able to see it, or go and see someone who's trained in that field and they may be able to bring out that limiting factor. Me personally, I let the other person talk about it and bring it out.
Yeah, perfect. So let's go to the next point. When and why can people be able to help themselves?
Yes. And I'll go back to the tools. If you've got the tools, then you can help yourself. And you know, there are a lot of people that are happy with their own tools. But if you feel that you don't have the tools to take you forward, if you feel that the goals that you may have set are not being met, then find someone. Find someone there and then. There's always plenty of help around. You know, there's always plenty of life coaches or sports coaches. Find the right people. Look at their reputation. Look at their resumes. Look at the reviews about them, and all referrals. Just speak to people and just say, okay, this person is a really good person. Go and see this person. Because if the support is there, there are actually trained people out there who are qualified to give that type of support. And if you feel that you need it and you can find them, because it's like everything. If you need a mentor, then go and find a mentor. But you would probably find a mentor in that particular field to help you for that particular skill that you're looking for. And so if you feel that there's someone out there that can help you with the limiting factors, like life coaches, there are a lot of life coaches out there. Speak to them, and don't be shy. Go and find help. There's plenty of support out there. It's just a matter of just finding that support. Perfect. And especially people who may have walked the path. I know traditionally we would always go to our elders because they walked the path. But there are many people now in different fields who have that experience and expertise. And just for myself, I always open my expertise to teachers as well, those who are struggling with just different aspects of school, whether it be classroom management, behavior management, planning, assessment, all those sorts of things, and also to principals as well, because there's a lot of stress involved in teaching. And if there's any way that those who have walked ahead, if there's any way that they can pass on information or knowledge to help others, there's a lot of limiting factors also in education as well. But there's also support, lots of support out there.
Perfect. How do you try to change the customer's minds?
Yep. For me, it's about self-reflection. For me, it's about them coming to the realization. So I just ask a lot of questions. I tend not to advise, and my questions just enable others to reflect. Just a lot of questions, because you'll find more that they will always come to the realization, but it's asking the right questions and listening.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, let me switch roles here. Like I'll be the interviewee and you are my interviewer for 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
So
Be
take
great.
the lead.
You want me to take lead?
Yeah, you can ask now.
Okay. Nour, what are you good at?
Okay, the best thing that I can do is to explore my interviewee's mind. Like I can sense where I ask good questions, where I ask not that good questions. If there are deeper areas that I didn't explore, I can sense that from their speech, and then I can drop in extra questions to grab their deep knowledge or the areas that we didn't speak about. So like I think that's a good thing that I can do. Like I can discuss and explore my interview's mind.
Okay. How did you get to this role?
Actually, I didn't get the role. It's my role for long. Like I usually, I am a good listener. I can listen actively. I can understand people and give them space to speak and express themselves. Then I can pick up on points where I can explore more, or where I can like get their attention. There is something here you need to pay attention. There is a mistake. There is a positivity. There is something you need to exploit. But like I can listen and like I can interact well, but I don't speak much. Maybe that's a good thing because it allows the people I'm speaking with to speak more and express themselves more. I can relate to their emotions. I can understand what they have been through, and they like I can sense their emotions, and I can feel sympathy with them. So I give them space. I give them time. I give them active listening.
Mm, mm, mm. So yeah, what are your values, Nour? Like, it seems like you like connecting with people. You come across very genuine. Is
Uh,
this something that you've been brought up with in your life?
Okay, actually, like throughout my life, I've been a lonely person. Like I don't have a lot of friends. I don't spend a lot of time talking and get chatting and hanging out with friends. Like most of my time, I'm working. But there is a certain area where that fits me very well. Like it's an area where you are exploring something useful, something positive, something that has good input, then I fit very well. But when it comes to like spending hours outside playing football for 3 or 4 hours, and then eating in the restaurant, and then watching a movie, then you spend like 7 hours of your day useless, then it is not me. Like I can simply sit on my chair for 5 hours reading a book, reading something online, reading websites, and then I'm fine with it. I don't have a problem like other people. But maybe other people complain about spending too much time alone, or not being active, or not running around in the streets. But that is not me. Like I always like to add something new and gain new information and insights into other things and into technical fields.
Mm, mm, mm. Nice. Yeah. So just from this short time, um, I've gotten to know a bit more about you, and I I heard energy in your voice, and I heard passion in your voice, and you were able to open up,
Yeah,
and so yeah, and so from there, hopefully there's that element of trust in what we've just done, and yeah, it was just nice to hear a bit about yourself, Nour, because when I speak to people, I I like to know their values. I like to know what drives them, and I like to know their strengths, because there's no better person to talk about yourself. Yeah, like if there's a topic that you could talk about, it's yourself. Not everyone can open up. No, not everyone can open up and talk about themselves that quickly. But I just found then that yeah, you had information that you wanted to share, and at that moment in time, you felt comfortable to. And maybe it's because you and I have been talking for an hour now. You know, it can be different for others. You know, so, someone could be meeting me for the very first time, and then think, well, I'm not going to say this to you, David, not just yet, because we've only just met. But perhaps we've developed this rapport between us.
Sure.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm just going to tie it all back to what I do, and I'm involved in coaching and mentoring at different levels, whether it be in business, whether it be in the sports field, whether it be in education. But and I find whether it be in life coaching, well, I just find that there's a lot of connections that go on there. And,
Certainly, certainly.
Yeah.
Great.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Was that the last question, Nour, to switch it around? Great.
So it has been a great pleasure talking to you, David. I really appreciate your time and help and everything about you.
Yeah, thank you, Nour. And it just finally from me, it's been great. Thank you so much for bringing me on your platform. And just to all those that are listening, if you find me on LinkedIn. I'm here, and I'm involved in other projects as well. So yeah, feel free to join me on my other projects, and especially for the educators out there as well. If you're looking for online professional development as well and life coaching, then you can come and find me also on the EdGuru website as well. There's that as well, and then you may see me popping up in different projects going on there. And maybe Nour, we can have a conversation later about breaking away from the traditional role of working, sort of going down the entrepreneurial route, which can be scary, especially for a lot of people. And I went down that road quite late, and so there were a lot of hard lessons to learn and very scary lessons of going on your own as well. So yeah, maybe part 2, Nour.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. All right then, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Shukran jazilan, my friend. And yeah, it's been a wonderful time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.